So this is an interesting prompt of a trailer that came out recently. Night of the Zoopocalypse, which is already interesting name. Now this is one of those movies that of course isn't being made by a mainline Western animation studio. In fact, I believe it's predominantly French. It's to the point where you're seeing all this footage right now of the trailer for this movie, and it's not actually in English, it's in French. There is a English clip, but it is literally just a single scene, and 60% of that scene is a squeaky toy squeaking. That being said, from the visuals at the very least of just the actual trailer, this looks a little bit more interesting than just that exclusive clip, and seems to be quite an interesting prompt. You can probably guess what it is. An apocalypse taking place at a zoo. We have several main protagonist animal characters, and they're also all unusual niche animal choices. We're not just dealing with a monkey, we're dealing with a proboscis monkey. Stuff like that. It's a little bit more specific, which makes for unique, interesting characters and character designs. I really like it. Now, beyond the fact that we have these animal protagonists, what's really going on is there's some sort of comet that goes and interacts with this zoo to spread somewhat of a zombie infection. And you know what? That's pretty sweet. We've heard all sorts of zombie stories in the past, and setting one in a zoo is surprisingly refreshing. I'm surprised we haven't done it that much before. Having it be entirely animals only as well, nice refreshing approach to the genre. Add on to the fact that they visually glow their eyes with light, and it's just a nice demonstration. A really well done zombie story for children. Which is ironic to say, because apparently actually a zombie story taking place in the zoo is very thematic right now, as a video game 2 weeks ago came out like this. I've been seeing all sorts of people comment on this as a comparison. Zoocosis apparently very much has a similar premise. It is not the same vibe though. That one is very strictly a horror, although I'm sure the kids would still adore it. The kids these days are creepy. Also, I've heard that game is practically unfinished and unfunctional, so oh well. But still, apparently there's a vibe right now. And I, surprisingly, really like this. When I just heard the title, Night of the Zoopocalypse, it sounds like that classic, terrible, weird animated idea that will have some weird aesthetics, and, you know, it's just generally not going to be that great. Perfect to dunk on, but actually, from just the visuals, I have no idea what they're saying. This looks pretty decent, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here. Now, despite it being a zombie story, it is not coming out in the month of October. It's coming out January 25th, at least in France, and that's fine. But I'm super on board with it. Now, what we do have as a synopsis from IMDb is apparently a wolf and mountain lion team up when a meteor unleashes a virus, turning zoo animals into zombies. They join forces with other survivors to rescue the zoo and stop the deranged mutant leader from spreading the virus. Nice, classic, simple. You don't need to go any further than that. Zombie apocalypse in a zoo, survive, fix it. Solid, sweet. It's kind of nice when movies go simplistic. You could just expand however far that simple premise gets you. I'm a little bit hesitant after hearing about the qualities of the comedy, at least in English. But hey, what do you know? Now, this is being done by Viva Pictures, who are a routine distributor when it comes to international family entertainment. They've made all sorts of family-safe movies, as they've described it. Recently, we covered the trailers of 200% Wolf, but they've also done things like Hit Pig, Scary Girl, Epic Tales, and Monster Family. Honestly, I think several of those were kind of in the running for terrible movies. At least 100% Wolf is... Actually, I've heard that's pretty bad too. But oddly enough, I actually have hopes for Night of the Zoopocalypse. I think the premise seems fine, and the animation is interesting. It's very dynamic of an animation style on the character designs at least, and the lighting is pretty solid. It's really nice. I think it will just come down to how the writing comes out, and obviously right now, I can't pass any of this writing. But it does also have David Harbour on board as their go-to celebrity voice actor appearance. Beyond that, other members of the voice cast we have are Paul Sun-Hyung Lee from The Mandalorian, Scott Thompson from The Kids in the Hall, and Gabby Cosmidis from Unicorn Academy. The co-directors are Ricardo Curtis and Rodrigo Perez Castro, who were involved in either the animation of The Incredibles back in the day or The Book of Life. Which is interesting, there are some solid accolades going to put this piece together. With Stephen Hoban's Copper Heart Entertainment properly producing this movie. And of course, naturally, in these early stages, we have all sorts of marketing quotes, such as one from Perez Castro and Curtis, who say, "We're so excited to be having the world premiere of Night of the Zoopocalypse at the Sitges Fantastic Film Festival," which is a film festival in Spain. Going on further to say, "It's the perfect place to unleash our unusual creatures to thrill and entertain family audiences across the globe." And then naturally, a very similar marketing line. I'm seeing this sort of format come along very commonly, I guess, but also from the Vice President of Acquisitions at Viva Pictures, we have Laura Prieto, who says, "We're thrilled to bring Night of the Zoopocalypse to family audiences everywhere. It's a perfect mix of spooky, fun, and adventure, and the ideal film for families to experience together at the movie theater." There's always someone in the business higher up that likes to say, "We're thrilled to bring this movie to us," you know? Funny as well that they mentioned, hey, it's great to have something spooky, but they're releasing this in January in France, whilst another article says March 7th, 2025, only in theaters. So perhaps that's more for the US. Now, that Sitges Film Festival we mentioned earlier took place October 6th, so a good 2-ish weeks ago from now, which is why I guess this is now being murmured and coming out. That English clip we saw was probably a preview they showed then, and now it's being released to the public now for schmucks like me to react to. And then, yeah, will be released in North America March 7th, 2025. Considering it's France in January and March in the US, I don't know where the UK fits in that. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle, geographically, I don't know. Interesting nonetheless. Beyond all that, it's only the early days of the marketing. It got a release at the film festivals. It's not the release of the full movie yet, it's just this exclusive clip in English and a French trailer that I've managed to mute. The only other final real details I can find about this is a secondary film synopsis that goes into a bit more detail, saying, "One night, a meteor crashes into the Culpeper Zoo, unleashing a virus that transforms the animals into strange and hilarious, slobbering zombie mutants. Gracie, a young quirky wolf, teams up with a gruff and fearsome mountain lion to find a way back to her pack. As the zoo is overrun, they must come up with a plan to get all the animals back to normal. Together with the help of a motley crew, Frida the fiery capybara, Ash the sarcastic fabulous ostrich, and Felix the treacherous monkey, they all embark on a perilous mission to rescue the zoo and defeat Bunny Zero, the deranged mutant king, determined to spread the virus beyond the zoo walls. Welcome to the Zoopocalypse." Nice! And considering as well it's a whole host of animal diversity at a zoo, you can see where this could explore. There's a poster image of a gigantic mutated elephant charging at a mouse. It just writes itself for some goofy classic fun. Honestly, it's the perfect way to do a horror-y kids movie, and I'm fully on board, to tell you the truth. Now, I might go through the past backlog of Viva Pictures productions to see how, it seems like there's some pretty good content there I could dig into. I actually tried to make a terrible out of the original Monster Family, and then found out the version I got was German, and I just completely dropped it. Oops. Maybe next year. But for now, I'll keep an eye on this news. We'll see where things go from here. But for now, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do let me know your thoughts on Night of the Zoopocalypse, and I shall see you in a little bit.